Good afternoon, it's 4 o'clock. I'd like to open the meeting for the regular meeting for Planning and Program and Zoning Commission. Item number 1 on the agenda is approval of the September 12th, 2017 agenda.
So moved.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion passes. Second item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on August 1st, 2017. Any questions or comments?
I move to approve the minutes from August 1st.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 3, financial report.
This is Schrader with staff. So this is the financial through July, so that's only 1 month into the fiscal year. So you can see under the percentages, there are some that are a higher percentage. Some expenses we have, that are kind of all up front right out the gate, as opposed to others that are more spread out. So it doesn't appear to be anything that appears too far out of whack. Any questions?
The only question I have, this is Flynn, is I guess throughout the year going over this, the adopted budget and the amended budget are exactly the same. Is that correct? So we don't have to peruse each column if they're exactly the same? Just wondering for future reference.
I think they're generally going to be the same unless an amendment would get done midway through the year, which usually, is only going to happen probably at the very end of the year if we have some line items that are getting a little bit out of whack for whatever reason.
Okay, thank you.
And Mrs. Butchin, I just have one quick thing. Under proceeds of capital asset sales, sale of property, what did we sell? 58,500.
Which,
It's on the front page, about halfway down, right in the middle. Unless I'm reading that wrong.
oh, okay. So it would have been a property. I'm not sure. Tim, do you recall which property that would have been? 58.5. Is that the? That have been the one San Martin, right away out in front of Crossroads. Okay, I'll have to look into that and verify which.
Okay.
But it would have been a property sale. So
Okay.
Church property right over here by Channel 7 where we did park.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So that lot right there across from KWWL, we sold to the church.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
No other further questions. We'll move on to item number 4, oral presentations. If there's anyone in the audience that'd like to speak on an item that's not on our current agenda, feel free to come to the podium, state your name and address. Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda items.
Did we need to approve the financial report? I don't remember if we did that or not.
I think it's information only.
Okay.
We've kind of gone back
Okay.
and forth, so I don't know if there's anything that
Just didn't want to
requires
skip it if we
be
had to.
approved.
You're asking. So the first item on our agenda is a hearing for a, and the time is 4:04. A request by Cardinal Construction for site plan amendment to the M2P Planned Industrial District to allow for the construction of a 22,990 square foot warehouse office building with a 4,000 square foot maintenance shop. At this time, we should receive and place on file a statement of verification signed by Patty McGee stating, I, Patty McGee, do hereby certify that a copy of the attached letter, drawings, aerial photo, and site plan were mailed to each individual on the attached list by regular mail on August 30th, 2017. We have a motion to receive and place this motion on file.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. For those of you who wish to speak for or against this request, we ask that you please come to the microphone and identify yourself by name and address. The members of the commission should also identify themselves by speaking into the microphones. I, Patty McGee, do hereby certify that a copy of the attached letter, site plan, aerial photo, and drawings were mailed to each individual regular mail on August 30th, 2017. Staff report? Yep.
Just starting off with staff, the applicant's requesting to construct a new warehouse office building and maintenance building with a 25-stall parking lot. The area in question was rezoned from U1 unclassified to M2P Planned Industrial District on May 3rd, 2004. The surrounding land uses and their zoning designations are as follows. To the north and west is Greenbelt, Zone A1 Agricultural District. To the south is Denzo International, Zoned M2P Planned Industrial. And to the east, Far Beverage and O'Neill Metals, Zoned M1 Light Industrial District. It will be necessary that a stormwater detention plan is submitted as for the engineering department to review and approve. The surrounding area consists mostly of agricultural, including 4 houses built between 1920 and 1953, industrial buildings built between 1981 and 2004, plus vacant land. A portion of the property is located in a special floodplain hazard area, as indicated by the Federal Insurance Administration flood map, rate map, community number 190025 284F, dated July 18th, 2011. The warehouse office building is located in Zone X, the 500-year floodplain. The proposed maintenance building is located in Zone A, 100-year floodplain, which required the building to be 1 foot above the base flood elevation. The proposed detention pond is located in the floodway, but will meet the regulations. The nearest sanitary sewer lines terminate at Denzo International and Far Beverage buildings. Sewer will need to be extended to the site. There is a 16-inch water main, electric and gas running under Martin Road. The future land use map designates this area as industrial. The proposed site plan amendment would confirm with the comprehensive plan and future land use map for the area. The applicant is requesting to construct a 22,990 square foot building with a 19,415 square foot warehouse space and 3,575 square foot office space. And it will include a 25-stall parking lot. In addition, they are seeking to build a 4,000 square foot maintenance building, which will sit in the 100-year floodplain and need to be at least 1 foot above the base flood elevation. The base flood elevation of the site is 854 feet, and the building site plan shows it to be at 863 feet, so we'll meet the requirement. The area in question is zoned M2P, Planned Industrial District. The zoning is designed to permit establishment of industrial parks and to provide orderly planned growth of industries in large tracts, allowing greater flexibility, diversification of land uses and building locations. It is also intended that such industrial parks be developed and maximize potentials of industrial areas, same time minimize the adverse effects upon adjacent property in other zoning districts. Zoning ordinance requires 1 parking space for every 2 people employed at the facility, and the site plan shows 25 parking spaces. During tech review, the following issues were brought up. Black Hawk County Emergency Services have continuing issues with being built in the floodplain. However, they do meet current regulations. The fire department noted that sprinklers would be required depending on what is stored in the building, and that will be discussed when a building permit is requested. Engineering noted that water drainage will need to be looked at and possibly changed to meet runoff. And there is a consultant looking at studying the best way to bring sewers to the site. Therefore, staff recommends that the request for the site plan amendment to the M2P Planned Industrial District be approved for the following reasons. The request is in conformance with the comprehensive plan and future land use for the area. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on traffic conditions in the area. The request would not appear to have a negative impact around the area. and with the following conditions, that the final site plan meets all applicable city codes, regulations, including but not limited to parking, landscaping, screening, drainage, etc., except as specifically altered by the site plan amendment approval.
Okay, if there's anybody in the audience that'd like to speak on or for or against this project, please come to the microphone and state your name and address. Seeing none, any questions for staff? Motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Close.
Second, there we go. All in favor of closing the hearing?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Any other final comments or questions or a motion for the item?
Okay, we're looking for motions to accept this on behalf of the, okay. This is Tyson. I would like to have the board make a motion or consider a motion to support the staff recommendation that request for a site plan amendment in the M2P Planned Industrial District be approved for the following reasons. The request is in conformance with the comprehensive plan and future land use map for this area. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on traffic conditions in the area. The request would not appear to have a negative impact upon the surrounding area. And with the following conditions, that the final site plan meets all applicable city codes, regulations, etc., including but not limited to parking, landscaping, screening, drainage, etc., except as specifically altered by the site plan amendment approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, items A2 and B1 are related to the same project. I'll make a recommendation that we do one staff report unless there's, okay?
Okay, yeah, this is.
Hang on one second.
We'll do that.
It is 4:12. And a hearing is scheduled at this time. A request by Ibrahim Shihada to rezone 8.25 acres from M2P Planned Industrial District to BP Business Park District for a daycare building located west of 2010 West Ridgeway Avenue. At this time, we should receive and place on file a statement of verification signed by Patty McGee stating, "I, Patty McGee, do hereby certify that a copy of the attached letter, drawings, aerial photo, and site plan were mailed to each individual on the attached list by regular mail on August 31st, 2017. Can we have a motion to receive and place this notice on file?
I move to place the on file.
Notice,
Yeah,
yeah.
notice on file.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Yeah. Staff report.
Okay, yeah, this is Heiberger with staff reports. Request by the Islamic Foundation of Iowa Incorporated to rezone approximately 8.25 acres from M2P Planned Industrial District to BP Business Park District, located west of 210 West Ridgeway Avenue. The applicant is the Islamic Foundation of Iowa Incorporated at 330 South Street, Waterloo, Iowa. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property in question to construct a daycare facility, play area, utility garage, community center gym, and Islamic Central School. The first phase of the project will only consist of constructing a 6,400 square foot daycare facility, 80 by 40 square foot play area, and a 16 stall parking lot. The second phase will consist of a 5,000 square foot community center gym, a 7,000 square foot Islamic Center School, and a utility garage. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on the neighborhood, which consists of the Kotoski Greenbelt to the north and west, the future Quick Star fuel blending facility to the east, and vacant land to the south, which is also zoned a BP Business Park District. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on vehicular or pedestrian traffic movements in the area. The site is served by West Ridgeway Avenue, which is classified as a minor arterial. There are currently no sidewalks located along West Ridgeway Avenue. A recreational trail is anticipated to be constructed along the south side of West Ridgeway Avenue in the future. The area of the proposed site is currently zoned M2P, Planned Industrial District. The site was rezoned from A1 Agricultural District to M2P, Planned Industrial District, on November 1st, 1999. To the north is the Katoski Greenbelt, zoned A1. To the south is vacant commercial property, zoned BP, Business Park District. To the east is vacant industrial property, zoned M2P, Planned Industrial District. And to the west is also the Katoski Greenbelt, zoned A1 Agricultural District. The Katoski Greenbelt is located to the west and north of the site, which is not anticipated to be developed in the future, as most of it is located within the floodplain. The future Quick Start blending facility will be located to the east. Future commercial business development is anticipated to occur to the south along West Ridge Avenue. The request for the construction of a daycare and future phases of the Islamic Center development would not appear to have a negative impact on the surrounding area. However, the applicants just still needs to be cognizant of the industrial nature, intended use, and design of nearby properties. Buffering will be required. It will be necessary that a stormwater detention plan is submitted to the engineering department for review and approval prior to the issuance of a building permit. The proposed request would not appear to have a negative impact upon drainage in the area if proper stormwater detection techniques are put in place. The property is located within a Zone A 100-year floodplain, Zone X 500-year floodplain, and non-floodplain. The area where the proposed daycare facility it will not be located in a special flood hazard area per the Federal Insurance Administration's flood insurance rate map. The Katoski Greenbelt is located to the west and north of the site. No schools are located in the immediate vicinity. The closest sewer line to the property in question is an 8-inch line that runs within West Ridgeway Avenue but stops 1,350 feet to the east at Martin Road. The sewer line will be extended to connect with the future Quick Star blending facility, but it will not be extended to the Islamic Community Center site. The applicant at this time intends to build a sewer septic system. The area does not contain any stormwater, but it does contain a 20-inch water main that runs along the south side of West Ridgeway Avenue. The future land use map designates this area as industrial. Land to the north and west is designated as parks, open spaces, airport, government facilities, and public spaces. Land to the south is designated as business park, professional offices, commercial, and compatible light industrial. Land to the east is designated as industrial. The proposed use appears to be compatible with the comprehensive plan. The site is also located within the primary growth area of the City of Waterloo's growth map. The applicant is requesting to rezone 8.25 acres from M2P, Planned Industrial District, to BP Business Park. The intention of the rezoning request is to provide the Islamic Foundation of Iowa Incorporated greater flexibility in regards to phasing its development. The site previously received special permit approval by the Board of Adjustment on April 9th, 2007 to build an Islamic Community Center with a mosque and other related facilities under one roof. The Islamic Foundation of Iowa now intends to have the Islamic Community Center built in phases that will be comprised of separate buildings. The first phase will consist of a 6,400 square foot daycare facility, 3,200 square foot play area, and 16-stall parking lot. The second phase will consist of a 5,000 square foot community century gym, a 7,000 square foot Islamic century school, and utility garage. Parking will need to be noted on the site plan when the Islamic Community Center gets ready to construct its second phase. A Islamic Community Center is a permitted use in the M2P Planned Industrial District, subject to special permit approval, which was received in 2007. Unfortunately, a standalone daycare or school building is not permitted use within the M2P Planned Industrial District. The rezoning of the land from M2P to BP Business Park District will enable the Islamic Foundation of Iowa Incorporated to better phase its Islamic Community Center development. A daycare, school, and community center, Islamic Center School are permitted uses under the Business Park District. Land to the south of the site is also a zoned business park district. The rezoning of the site would be in character with the neighborhood. The applicant at this time is not planning to subdivide the property. For the Technical Review Committee, Lori Glover with the Blackhawk County Office of Emergency Management expressed concerns regarding a portion of the site being located in a 100-year floodplain. City Water planning staff, however, noted that the proposed daycare facility will not be built in the 100-year floodplain. Members of the Technical Review Committee expressed concerns regarding the close proximity of the proposed daycare to the soon-be-constructed Quick Trip blending facility and asked if the applicant has looked at the possibility of having sanitary sewer connected to the site. City of Waterloo planning staff indicated they're only planning on having a sewer septic system installed at this time. The proposed daycare facility will be located 700 feet west of the Quick Trip blending facility, and there are trees located between the two sites to act as a buffer. A representative of Quick Trip indicated that there are numerous safety measures that will be incorporated into the design of the tanks to mitigate any potential impacts and limit potential damage to the site itself. In addition, the fueling tanks are located within a containment wall in case of any spillage or faults with the tanks. Therefore, staff recommends that the request to rezone approximately 8.25 acres from M2P, Planned Industrial District, to BP, Business Park District, be approved for the following reasons. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on the surrounding area. The request would not appear to have a negative impact upon pedestrian traffic conditions within the surrounding area. The request will better enable the applicant to phase its development as funding and timing allows. With the following condition, that the final site plan meets all applicable city codes, regulations, etc., including but not limited to parking, landscaping, screening, drainage, etc., and except as specifically altered through the site plan approval process.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Go ahead.
This is Flynn. Just wondering about the size and the number of parking spots and if that is all up to code as far as if it would be further developed for a school or, the number of parking spots versus the size of the building.
Yeah, I mean, at this time, they're only looking at the proposed daycare itself, and they do have a 16-stall parking lot on the site plan. When it comes to, and then that does meet our current parking requirements for the daycare facility. In the future, when the applicant intends to submit for a second phase, they will note that parking and other items, it's just, they're right now they're just concentrating on the first phase, and then the second phase they'll get more into specifics in regarding to parking areas, parking spaces, and provide more detail with the future site plan development for the construction of future phases for the Islamic Standard development.
So just in clarification, with a 6,400 square foot lot, building, facility, 16 stalls is adequate?
Yes.
Mrs. Butchin, I don't have a septic sewer system, so I don't understand that, but I guess my only concern is, are they connected to basic water services, so in case of a fire? I guess that's the only question I have.
Yeah, they have access to a 20-foot line.
Okay.
That's just right on West Bridgeway Avenue, so they'll have no issues or problems in regards to water access at the site. The sewer, though, unfortunately, won't go all the way to the site, and the applicant may in the future look at the possibility of connecting to the system. But I think at this time they just intend on doing a sewer septic system.
Okay, that was my only concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Flynn again. I'm noticing at the tech review meeting that there was no one from Mid-American Energy present. So as far as any issues, have they been contacted, as far as any power situations or anything in that area?
This Schrader with staff. Yeah, I believe they were absent. They do normally send an individual, but they have also been pretty good if they don't send an individual, that if they have any comments that they will provide them. They do get both the tech packet and then the later P&Z packet once we send that out, and they did not forward on any comments or concerns.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience that'd like to speak on or for or against this project? Again, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing is now closed. So we look to a motion for, I'll look to the panel for, we want to combine these two motions together or separate, any preference?
Well, this is Butchin, since we've only gone through and talked about the first, can we just okay the first, or at least bring that up for motion and then go through this? I don't know.
Sure, let's
We
do
need
that.
to, maybe there's gonna be a lot of redundancy in the second one that we can just pass when we're talking about it.
Eric, any
That
comments?
make sense?
We can do the first one. I mean, yeah, there shouldn't be much additional that we need to cover in the staff
Right.
report for the other one, but we can cover the first one on the motion and hopefully fairly quickly get to a motion on the second one.
Very good.
And sorry, this is Flynn again. Just wondering with, I don't know, is the applicant here?
Yeah.
Okay. Just was wondering as far as, they know the concerns from the Quick Star and the facility there. You're completely okay with that, with the Quick Star blending facility to be that close?
Is it not enough agreement?
Yeah.
So we look for a motion for item A2.
Okay, so this is Butchin. I so moved to request by the Islamic Foundation of Iowa to rezone approximately 8.25 acres from M2P Planned Industrial District to BP Business Park District located west of 2010 West Ridgeway Avenue. Do I need to say anything else?
Yeah, there's a condition noted.
And that must be, hold on. With the following condition, that the final site plan meets all applicable city codes, regulations, et cetera, including but not limited to parking, landscaping, screening, drainage, et cetera, except as specifically altered through the site plan approval process.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. So the next item on the agenda is again related to the same item. It's a special permit to allow for the establishment of a community daycare center within a BP Business Park District located west of 2010 West Ridgeway Avenue.
Just from a staff report, if there's anything different that you think you need to point out.
Yeah, no, in regards to the staff report, basically, the special permit is just simply required, just because they're changing the overall scope of the development, to allow for the phasing of the facilities and allow for the separate structures. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much exactly the same in each report.
This is Flynn. Just wondering if there is a plan potentially for fencing, just with the road of Ridgeway being that close? Any type of fencing?
The applicant,
Can the applicant address any fencing?
is there any fencing now? I think there.
We do have a fence for the whole entire 8.25, and there will be a fence for the playground. So those are, going to be taken care of as codes.
Thank you.
And then, this is Butchin, one thing mentioned in this one was, it'll be necessary that a stormwater detention plan is submitted to the engineering department for review and approval prior to the issuance of a building permit, so are we okaying it if we vote for this, or?
You're not okaying the detention plan. That's just something the
No,
engineering.
the permit.
No, this doesn't okay the building permit. This just okays what's essentially a use permit, the special permit that authorizes the use. They'll still have to submit the full detailed plans, including
Okay.
the drainage, before they can get the building permit.
Okay, thank you.
Engineering just likes us to make sure we put that in there as kind of a reminder to everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, or we can entertain a motion?
This is Castle, and I move that we approve for a special permit to allow for the site development modification of the previously approved religious facility located west of 2010 West Ridgeway Avenue, with the following conditions: that the final site plan meets all applicable city codes, regulations, etc., including but not limited to parking, landscaping, screening, drainage, etc., except as specifically altered through the site plan approval process.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Move on to item B2. It's a special permit request by the Boys and Girls Club of the Cedar Valley for a special permit to allow for the establishment of Teen and Education Center within a C2 commercial district located at 809 East 4th Street. Staff report?
This is Western with staff. The request by the Boys and Girls Club of the Cedar Valley for a special permit to construct a 6,500 square foot teen center building, a variance to the required minimum parking stalls, and to have a zero lot line along East 4th Street within a C2 commercial district located at 809 East 4th Street. Vehicular use and pedestrian traffic conditions. The request would not appear to have a negative impact upon pedestrian or vehicular traffic conditions in the area, as there is an existing curb cut on East 4th Street that was used by various retail businesses as far back as 1912. Also, East 4th Street is classified as a minor arterial road, and a primary function of an arterial road is to deliver traffic from collector roads, freeways or expressways, and between urban centers at the highest level of service possible. The proposed center is currently 9 parking stalls short of the minimum 22 stalls required. However, the applicant has stated that initially the estimated number of teens to participate would be approximately 15 to 20 teens, of which none of them are driving at this time, and it is expected that most students would walk to the center or be dropped off. The applicant has stated that the center would likely max out at approximately 40 to 60 students, and that estimate would fluctuate daily due to students being involved in other activities preventing them from attending the center. There are sidewalks along both sides of East 4th Street that would be used to access the teen center. The zoning history: the property in question is zoned C2 commercial district and has been zoned as such since the adoption of the ordinance. The surrounding land uses and their zoning are as follows. To the north, C2 commercial, and there's one residential home and a barber shop. To the south, has a C2 commercial district. There's a commercial storage building and a restaurant. To the east, R2 residential district and its residential homes. And to the west, C2 and a mix of C2 and R3 commercial and multiple family residence districts, and consists of East High's schools, softball fields, and tennis courts. There would be screening requirements for this development. There is a 36-inch sanitary sewer and a 15-inch storm sewer located within East 4th Street to the east of the site in question. There is also a 6-inch water main with stubs to the property to serve the site. The future land use map designates this area as commercial. The special permit request would be in conformance with the future land use map and comprehensive plan for this area. The site is located within the primary growth area. The proposed site has an existing 2,868 square foot retail building that was built in 1912 and has been vacant since 2006. That was recently acquired by the city of Waterloo through Iowa Code 657A. The property is a severely dilapidated and dangerous building that will be demolished by the city. Upon completion of the demolition, it is the intent of the Boys and Girls Club to purchase the 90 by 160 or 14,440 square foot lot and enter into a development agreement with the city. The structure to the south of 809 may also be acquired by the city through donation from the owner. That would also be demolished and made available for the project. That may help create additional parking stalls in an effort to ensure adequate parking for the proposed center. Now, there are also on-street parking along the west side of East 4th Street that would be available that could accommodate approximately 10 to 12 vehicles. The applicant has stated that the existing site at 515 Lime Street is no longer adequate in space to accommodate more than 20 to 25 teens, and based on a recent survey of 1,000 Waterloo teens, having a teen center that would focus on completing homework, SAT preparation, and career mentoring rated very high. The construction of the teen center, the applicant expects to With the construction of the teen center, the applicant expects to increase the number of active teens to approximately 100 in the future. Staff employed at existing Boys and Girls Club located at 515 Lime Street, which is approximately 256 feet to the southwest of the proposed center, feel the close proximity will work extremely well for them and would allow for efficient and effective operation of the proposed center. The center will have 4 to 5 employees working at all times, as well as many volunteers. Staff feels that the construction of the teen center along the 800 block of East 4th Street would have a positive effect on the area by providing teens with a safe place for learning and recreation. Staff feels that the project would add to the already exciting new developments being completed in the area that has until recently seen very little new developments, with the exception of a new CVS pharmacy constructed in 2013 located at the corner of Logan Avenue and Franklin Streets, and a new strip mall recently constructed in the 400 block of Franklin, completed in 2016. And coming soon, the construction of a new grocery store to be completed in the fall of 2018. That focuses on hiring from within the immediate neighborhood that will be located at the corner of Franklin and Clay Streets, approximately 650 feet to the southwest from the proposed center, where it may provide opportunities for employment for teens. Prior to the completion of the pharmacy and strip mall, the last new development was a 7-story senior housing project completed in 1980. Also, the recently formed Walnut Neighborhood Coalition, in partnership with the City of Waterloo, Habitat for Humanity, and JSA, and many active local residents are working diligently on developing a master plan to rehabilitate existing dilapidated homes, assist current residents with home improvements, as well as build new homes throughout the Walnut Court neighborhood. Therefore, staff would recommend approval of the request by the Boys and Girls Club of the Cedar Valley for a special permit to construct a 6,500 square foot teen center building, a variance to the minimum parking requirements, and to have a zero lot line along East 4th Street within a C2 commercial district located at 809 East 4th Street be approved for the following reasons. The request would be in conformance with the comprehensive plan and future land use map for this area. The request would have a positive effect on the area by providing teens a positive place to play, place for learning. The proposed teen center would serve to generate excitement for an area that has seen minimal new development. The request would not appear to have a negative impact upon pedestrian or vehicular traffic conditions in the area. The request would allow the Boys and Girls Club to improve the ability to provide programs, activities, and opportunities to the teenage population. The construction of the Teen Learning Center may attract and retain more teens through all 4 years of high school. And subject to the following conditions: that the final site plan meets all applicable city codes, regulations, etc., including but not limited to parking, landscaping, screening, drainage, etc., except as approved by the Board of Adjustment.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Yeah, this is Castle. I have 2 questions. The zero lot line, that is only for the 4th Street property line, correct? The other setbacks will be met?
Correct.
Okay. And then my other question is, it's said in the report that the structure to the south may be acquired by the city. That hasn't happened, so that we can't account for that for more parking, correct?
At this time, no, it's not official.
Okay.
This is Flynn. I am a little concerned about the parking because, again, if we I'm all for the building of this, but I just want to make sure we have adequate parking, because as you just lastly stated, all through high school, when you get up in high school, you will drive, so there will be more vehicles there. But I guess, just for my own clarification, the first project, just in going through my notes, was 6,400 square foot with 16 stalls. And this is stating a 6,500 square foot with 22 stalls. So I'm wondering if maybe at some point we could have a list prepared, or, is it based by square foot? Is it based by usage? Is it based by zone? How many parking stalls you require a building and a facility of variant size to have?
Oh, good point. Yeah, I don't see where, I have 6,500 all throughout
I think she's
here.
talking about the other.
Oh,
The other project that we approved was
gotcha.
6,400 square
Okay.
feet with 16 stalls.
So it is based on use. Differing
Okay.
uses
Yeah.
require differing, so a daycare is listed different than what this goes under. It has a different, number of stalls per square foot. This one has a lower threshold that's allowed.
So this is Butchin. So when Flynn talked about purchasing that extra place or getting it as a donation for some extra parking, is that real feasible? Is that going to happen, do you think?
It's definitely feasible. Regarding if it's going to happen, we have had representatives of the city of Waterloo have had initial conversations with the property owner, and I think there's interest there, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's certain interest. The only thing that needed to be worked out was there is a contract buyer of the property. But the building is extremely underutilized. So we're pretty positive we'll be able to work something out.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Anyone in the audience that'd like to speak for or against this, please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Charles Dillard. I got the building next door, and for the record, I'm not selling, I'm not donating. So where to get the information from for the extra parking, I'm not for sure. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
This is Tyson. I just want to congratulate and the vision of your board, Chuck, and staff for putting this project together. I think it'll be a great one. I think there's a few of us in this room, since we were talking about graduation dates here earlier, that have been around that whole area, even when the time Mama Nix was there. But I just think if it is passed, and be a great addition to that area, and tied in too with the Waterloo schools, it's certainly needed. So again, if we can get by the parking, and it's just going to only add on to, so.
And this is Flynn, I would totally agree with that, with East High being there. It's a perfect proximity, and Carver not being too far down the road. It would just be a perfect location to have kids that access to even walk across the street and work on homework or the programs that you offer. So I applaud your efforts to incorporate all of our students in your programs.
This is Castle. I guess I just have one question for the owner is, with your current location, how is parking working for you? Are you seeing a lot of students coming and driving? Are they being dropped off? Has parking been an issue for you?
Without being or meaning to be rude by any means, the Boys and Girls Club, we tend to target a certain group of population of kids. And we're proud of that because we want to reach kids who need us the most. And the kids that we have that are teens that are coming to the club right now, they don't have access to their own car. None of our teens drive. I can remember, I've been here almost 8 years now, believe it or not, Bob. I've been almost here 8 years. And I can remember one teenager that drove to the club.
Thank
And
you.
the flip side of that, this is Flynn again, is a smaller parking area would allow less time to hang out with cars in an area.
That would be true. And we've done something, the city has been very helpful helping us with our current parking lot. If you've ever been to our current parking lot, I mean, it's not the most fabulous thing in the world, but we made it a one-way now, that parking lot, just kind of copying off the schools. And now it's been it's been perfect. So it shows that a small parking lot can definitely work. And if you consider the fact that we have an average of 175 kids that go to the Boys and Girls Club each day at our current site, and we're able to make do with that size parking lot with the billion parents that come through to pick up their kids, we could certainly manage with this parking lot at a teen center.
And this is for Virginia Wilbur. Does that accommodate for take into consideration volunteers then who might be driving?
Yep, so it takes into account the volunteers and the staff that would be there. We'll have plenty of street parking. We're right, I mean, if you know the sites, if you ever walk there before, you'll see that the site where we're looking at and the Boys and Girls Club, it's a 2-second walk from each other, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Could entertain a motion.
This is Butchen. I would definitely request or ask for the approval of the request by the Boys and Girls Club of Cedar Valley for a special permit to allow for the establishment of Teen and Education Center within a C2 commercial district located at 809 East 4th Street, with the following conditions: that the final site plan meet all applicable city codes, regulations, et cetera, including but not limited to parking, landscaping, screening, drainage, et cetera, except as approved by the Board of Adjustment. And I just want to say yeehaw too. Good job.
Second.
Sorry.
We have a motion that's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll move on to item C1, appeal to permit parking on city right-of-way. It's a request by Wilbur Auto Body and Sale, Inc. for a appeal of the restrictions for parking in a city right-of-way to allow for up to 8 parking spaces within the public street right-of-way adjacent to 212 West 9th Street. Staff report.
This is starting off with staff. The request is to appeal the city code requirement prohibiting vehicles from parking in city-owned right-of-way located between the street and property line adjacent to 212 West 9th, which is Wilbur Auto. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on the neighborhood. Other businesses along other streets in the area appear to utilize parking in the city right-of-way and have done so for some time. The request would not appear to have a negative impact on traffic conditions in the area. 9th Street is only 3 blocks long, does not connect with either US Highway 218 or crosses the Cedar River, which limits the amount of through traffic in the area. One parking spot near the intersection would need to be removed to ensure adequate site visibility at the intersection. The lot in question is zoned M1 Industrial District and has been zoned as such since March 9th, 1987. Surrounding land uses in all directions, and their zoning is mix of residential and commercial, zoned M1 Light Industrial District. The area includes homes that were built between 1879 and 1941 and commercial business structures built between 1931 and 2013. The applicants will need to ensure that the lot is properly graded, drained, and hard surfaced per section 10-25-2D of the zoning ordinance. There is a 12-inch sewer line, storm sewer line, 8-inch sanitary sewer line on Commercial Street, along with 4-inch drain tiles on either side of the street and road. Maps show an 8-inch sanitary sewer line in 9th Street. However, there is a note that says that it may not actually exist. The applicant is requesting to appeal the city's zoning requirement prohibiting vehicles from parking in the city-owned right-of-way located between the street and property line, located at the northwest corner of Commercial Street and 9th Street, West 9th Street. City Ordinance 4602 notes that parking is not permitted in the city right-of-way between the curb and sidewalk. The code goes on to say that business wishing to park in the city right-of-way must obtain a permit from the city council. Previously, similar requests were treated as an appeal to the city appeal to the driveway width and first gone to the Planning and Zoning Commission before heading to City Council. Staff, the street only runs 3 blocks between Bluff Street and JR Drive. Most traffic uses 11th Street and 6th Streets as they both connect between US 218 and the Cedar River. Although current city code does not allow for parking to be used, for the area to be used for parking, previously it was allowed, often making for a patch of areas that have it and do not. It was noted by the applicant that that the business has been parking cars there since 1939. The staff would note that allowing parking in the right-of-way on low-traffic streets in this area would appear to be a benefit to the development of some smaller infill lots located in the area. Many of the lots are smaller in size and are zoned M1, which does not allow for new residential use. Businesses may be willing to locate on these smaller lots, but have difficulty fitting both their buildings and the required parking on these lots. Allowing parking in the city right-of-way in certain situations could be to encourage greater infill development in the area. During tech review, there was a concern about the triangle visibility, as there is a picture of a car sitting right next to the sidewalk on Commercial Street. There was also concerns about lack of site plan for the applicant, but the applicant did turn in a site plan. Therefore, staff recommends that the appeal to city code requirement prohibiting vehicles from parking in city-owned right-of-way located between the street and the property line located northwest corner of Commercial 9th Street be approved for the following reasons. The street in question is a low-traffic street with other businesses utilizing the right-of-way for parking vehicles. Allowing this parking would encourage infill development of a small-sized lot and would be difficult to develop due to meeting normal parking standards. This portion of West 9th Street is an 80-foot right-of-way, allowing sufficient room for vehicles to park in the area requested without overhanging the sidewalk or the street. Subject to the following conditions: the parking area would need to be graded, drained, and hard serviced per section 1020-25-2D of the zoning ordinance and meet specifications of the city engineer. The parking area will not be able to block the sidewalk or street system in the area, and that a 20-foot triangle of visibility is maintained from the corner of Commercial and 9th Street.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Yes, I have a question. I don't understand the 20-foot leeway you have to have on zoning order. I own and operate the body shop.
Yeah.
So you're saying I have to stay back 20 feet from commercial?
Yeah, from the corner, you have to have 20 feet of visibility. It's required for buildings, fencing, I mean, basically anything. It's so that you can see around the corner.
Well, we have been there since 1939.
Yeah.
And back when John Roof was mayor, we went through this and he approved, everything was okay. We've got a hard surface there. We reseal it every year. It's well maintained. I've got pictures of the neighborhood. The neighborhood is pretty decrepit. When you look at the Wilbur's place, it's a lot better. And Sue Moody came over and we had our recycled bumpers out in front. I mean, this is a different subject, but she told me I had to move them, get those out of there too, and it was on our property. So I cleaned all that up. So I think we're a pretty good citizen of Waterloo, Iowa, and I would hate to be without 20 more feet of my parking. We employ 8 people. We do a sizable business in Waterloo. We have the salvage yard, we crush cars. This is a third of my business, selling these rebuilt vehicles. I know you might say, oh golly, that's the no-no. Well, that's what we do for a living, and I'm not going to apologize for it. But that's our thing. So,
Well, like I said, I mean, it's 20 feet from Commercial Street, so we measured it, it was about one parking spot.
I suppose, yeah.
I mean, but it's up to the commission to make that recommendation.
I don't think I
City
ever
Council.
remember an accident being caused at that corner, maybe because of snow piled from the city street department, but yeah.
And-
If that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do, but I can't I can't really be without that parking. Years ago, I told John Ruff, I said, you're gonna have to lease it to me, or sell it to me, or leave me alone. And that's what I'm asking for now, because I really need this space. Thank you.
This is Wilbur, and I do have to clarify for the record that I do have a conflict here, as this is my father's business, so I will be abstaining, but I do have a clarification question. In terms of the condition of being graded, is the current surface acceptable, or is there additional requirement in terms of the grading?
Not sure. That would probably be up to engineering.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be up to engineering as far as the grading and stuff. I wasn't there when they actually took pictures. That would have been Tim, so I'm not sure what the site looked like.
Have asphalt there now.
So yeah, it already has asphalt.
We'll have to review that.
This is Flynn, and for the applicant, were you turned in as a violationer, or how did this?
I showed up out of nowhere. I think one of the neighbors got in trouble. And
Sir, if you can come to the podium,
Yeah, can you come to the podium? Sorry.
for the
I
record.
think one of my neighbors down the block got in trouble, and all of a sudden Sue Moody showed up and, well, you gotta file for an application of variance for the parking the cars out there, and then we had our recyclable bumpers out in front by the dumpster on our property. Well, she wanted to put a fence up around that. I said, no, that's not even useful there. So we just moved them, and when we get a bunch of them, we just haul them out to the salvage yard. So,
No, well, I applaud your efforts for taking the proper process, because I drive by here, and these vehicles have been here for 10 years that I've driven down this road. So I applaud you taking the effort to come in, and like you say, I see the sidewalk. You're never crossing that sidewalk on Commercial. You're butted to it. I've noticed that, and in the photo we have here, that doesn't seem to be a problem to me either, so.
and we don't work out on the sidewalk. We don't change motors and stuff. We do everything inside. We try to be a professional business and do things the right way. Got all the right permits and licenses and recycling stuff, and yeah, that's a lot of stuff to do.
And then this is Butchen, and am I to understand that you said this is already an asphalted area?
Yes, we've had it
So-
asphalted for a long time.
So I guess I don't understand the part about the grading part either.
I don't get that either. And we reseal it every year, to keep it nice and
Right, you
smooth.
said that too, so.
So,
Well, I'm ready to make a motion. So I recommend that we go with the staff recommendation that the appeal to the city code requirement prohibiting vehicles from parking on the city-owned right-of-way located between the street and property line located at the northwest corner of Commercial and West 9th Street be approved for the following reasons. The street in question is a low-traffic street with other businesses utilizing the right-of-way for parking vehicles. 2, allowing this parking would appear to encourage infill development of a small-sized lot that would be difficult to develop due meeting normal parking standards. 3, the portion of West 9th Street is an 80-foot right-of-way, allowing sufficient room for vehicles to park in the area requested without overhanging on the sidewalk or the street. And it would be subject to the following condition. The parking area would need to be graded, drained, and hard surfaced if this is not already completed and inspected by the city engineer. Number 2, the parking area will not block the sidewalk or the street system. And number 3, that a 20-foot triangle of visibility would be maintained from the corner of Commercial and 9th.
Second.
We have a motion that's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and 1 abstention. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 6, discussion items. Any discussion items?
Not that I'm aware of.
Welcome our new Flynn here. Welcome our new commissioner.
Welcome, Virginia Wilbur.
Yeah.
Make a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
Adjourn. Thank
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah,
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
thank you.